Hey, podcaster. I'm Tim Wahlberg, your podcast performance coach, with another actionable tip so you can grow your podcast authority, generate leads, and convert with ease. Today's tip is reframe social media's role in your marketing. A lot of people come to us because they're fed up with the old marketing game. They're tired of fighting the algorithm, tired of shouting into the void, tired of trying to keep up with the trends. Let's not dance around this. They hate social media and they're looking for a way out. So they wonder, can I just podcast instead? And my answer is yes, but also no. You knew that was coming, didn't you? I know. It depends is a crappy answer, but it's true. Your podcast can replace social media as your primary content engine. But here it comes. If you try to grow your podcast in a vacuum, you're clipping its wings. Podcasting and social media are teammates in what I like to call your podcast ecosystem. Let me explain. Your podcast on its own can absolutely attract clients and leads, boost your SEO, and build social proof around your authority. But if you ignore social media completely, you're missing out on the visibility, connections, and amplification that help your podcast grow. Think of social media as the megaphone for your podcast. It helps more people hear what you're saying. Now, if you hate social media, here's the good news. Your podcast actually makes your social content 100 times easier. Yeah, you don't have to invent content from scratch. You just repurpose what you've already said on your show. Your podcast is the fuel for your social media feed. Leveraging every episode makes the struggle of keeping up with social media so much easier. Here's a simple 5-post plan to turn one podcast episode into a week's worth of social media. All right, ready for this? Here's one. The teaser post. Build anticipation. Share what this week's episode is about and why it matters. This could also be a behind-the-scenes post of you getting the podcast ready. Number 2, the drop post. Announce the episode is live. Hook them with the main takeaway. Number 3, the engagement post. Ask a question related to your topic to spark a conversation. Number 4, the snippet or reel. Pull a powerful clip or moment, audio or video, and post it. And number 5, the carousel or quote graphic. Share a short teaching moment from your episode in a visual format. That's it. 5 easy posts, all pulled directly from one podcast episode. The teaser post, the drop post, the engagement post, the snippet, and the quote. You're not reinventing the wheel. You're just keeping it rolling. And if you have an email list, you can apply that same repurposing rhythm here. Pre-tease your episode, share the episode on a drop day, and follow up a few days later with an engagement email or results from your engagement post. Now, your podcast isn't just fueling your social media, it's fueling your entire content ecosystem. Just be aware of the frequency of your email, know your audience, and know their limits. You may not want to drop 5 emails every single week into their email box. So, are you starting to come around on keeping your social media along with a podcast instead of trying to replace it with a podcast? Listen, I'm not a raging social media fan, but I do understand its importance. So let me give you a few more strategic reasons social media should stay in the mix. If you plan on advertising, social media collects the data you need to retarget listeners who visit your website or engage with your content. That's important. If your podcast is all about building authority and social proof with potential clients, you know they're heading over to social media to make sure that your online presence matches what they're hearing in your podcast. Social proof is often the clincher. If you're trying to get guests with any kind of influence on your show, they're going to be looking at social media to check your credibility. And don't forget that social media is one way to make contact and build a relationship with those potential guests and collaborators. If you want to grow your show, one of the best ways to do that is to get on other people's podcasts. We call it the OPP strategy. You can learn more about that in episode 218. But to get on other people's podcasts, you need to offer them both value and exposure. So yes, they will likely be looking at your social media. I'm the last person to be cheerleading social media. Trust me, I get the resistance, but I also know that it can be a powerful way to amplify your podcast and play a role in discoverability. If you've got a team or some automation tools, this doesn't have to be a huge time suck. It's a light lift once you've got your system dialed in. Remember, you don't have to be on every social media platform. Pick the one where your ideal listeners are hanging out. And you don't have to learn the latest TikTok dance to cut through. Use your podcast as fuel. So, is it podcasting or social media? Geez, haven't you been listening? No, it's both. It's podcasting and social media working together and feeding each other. Your podcast is the content engine. Social media is the amplifier. Together, they build your visibility, authority, and revenue faster. And I hope that's just the tip you need. If all this talk about podcast ecosystems has you realizing that yours isn't exactly thriving, or you're realizing that if you're going to start a podcast, you'd better be doing more than just flipping on a mic, let's talk. Our coaching programs are so much more than just having a podcast. They're about building a podcast ecosystem that serves you, your listeners, and your business. Why not book a private call with me if you want to talk and figure it out together? Book your free private podcast coaching call at podcastperformancecoach.com. I'm Tim Walberg. See ya.